Hi everyone, this is week 7. We're making a lot of progress through this quarter. It's kind of crazy. This week, you're actually going to be submitting something for your guest editorial. And I kind of want to go over what that means with you. Don't worry, it's not graded in terms of how good it is. It's just a draft just to sort of get you started on the writing process. So I want to go through what that will look like. So first, I just want to point out you do have 2 small assignments this week. Sorry, you can hear my cat. She's crying in the background. The first thing is on Wednesday, you're going to be posting some type of draft of your guest editorial. So it doesn't have to be a full draft, and I'll go over what that means in just a minute. You're going to do some peer feedback on that guest editorial. And then you're also going to do your second writer's sketchbook entry, which is going to be basically a continuation of what you did for the first one. So let me just go over what this guest editorial peer review is going to look like. So this might be a little confusing because you have 3 options. So I just want to go over what your options are, and I can sort of show you what that looks like based on the assignment. So your first option is that you can submit the introduction talking about which theme from Tinto that you would like to talk about and why you're putting this special issue together. So if you do an introduction, I would love for your introduction to look something like this, and let me find that file for you. Okay. So if you do an introduction, I'd like it to be at least 2 long paragraphs or 3 shorter paragraphs like you have here. So this has to be like a pretty substantial introduction. It's not just going to be 1 paragraph. Make sure you're kind of addressing all of the things that are addressed in this example here. So that's one option. However, I know a lot of you may not want to start with your introduction because you're introducing something you haven't written yet, which is valid. So instead of starting with your introduction, you could start just by summarizing the articles that you have chosen. So that means you would submit 5 summaries, 1 of each article that you have chosen. And the summaries are going to be short. They're kind of these little tiny 200-word summaries. Notice there's only 2 that are listed here, but you will need 5, okay? So to complete this assignment to get full credit, I will need you to submit all 5 of those. So that's another option. Some of you may be really worried about your synthesis, and you may want to start kind of trying to write that. So if you decide for option C, what you would do is you could maybe just submit maybe 2 of these or maybe 3 summaries if you really want to do that. And then you're also going to give me maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs of synthesis, because that is the major part of your assignment, right? This synthesis is going to be the longest part of your assignment. So if you want to start trying to synthesize those 2 articles together, that's another option that you have for option C. So I just want to point out, you can always do more than this. If you want to give me a full draft of your guest editorial, completely, that would be fine. I would love that. However, please don't do less, okay? So please don't do just 2 summaries, right? If you're going to do the introduction, give me a full introduction. If you want to add a summary on top of that, fine. But just make sure you're giving me something substantial, okay? So that we can really evaluate it. Just like last time, I want you to add a little memo at the top telling your peer reviewer what you want them to look out for. I've attached the same idea of peer review here, and then you're going to do a response just like you did to the BEAM assignment. Now, once you go to your group to respond, you're going to see that I've assigned you who will be reading whose project. So just make sure you look at that so that you know which group you're supposed to be, which person you're supposed to be reading for. And then that's kind of it. I would say that other than that, this week is going to be relatively easy. This whole process right now that you're in, you're supposed to be kind of thinking about and digesting the readings. That's kind of where we're at. So you're not doing so much writing, you're doing a lot more thinking here. Once we get to week 8 and week 9 especially, you're going to be doing much more writing so that by week 10 you have a full assignment to submit. But this is just a way for you to start giving me something so that I can look at it.